are trying to look at here, what is planning. So it's equivalently like for the actuals, the way that you are getting, the same way you're going to have the planning, right? So first and foremost thing, when you are talking of planning, what is needed in a planning perspective is that you cannot have any planning unless you have versions defined, right? So version 0, version 1, version X, like that. So
yeah.
So versions are basically versions makes your planning to have multiple levels of plans. For example, you may use a version 1 for a specific purpose, version 2 for another purpose, or version 3 for another purpose, like that. There is no limit for as far as the versions are concerned, right? So in SAP gives lot number of versions, and planning process wise, what happens is that normally you will always have one active version which is 0, and you try to compare 0 with the actuals, right? So this is when you say 0, this may be a production version, right, where this is final approved by everybody, and they are going to compare this, right? So that again depends on the organization to organization, right? So you don't know which version they are using as a final version. But normal process is that multiple people will be working on multiple versions, right? And then once a particular version is complete, then once it's approved, it may be copied into another version, and then finally the final version, like that it comes up, right?
That is the normal way,
yeah.
You are talking the standard, like you'll have various versions, but finally you have a version 0 for to be the final version.
Yes, but one thing you should not forget: these actuals can be compared with version 0, version 1, or version 2, or version X. There is no problem as far as the comparison is concerned, right? So it's not that you can compare.
Posting happens only in version 0. That's what
No, that is different. That is nothing to do with the version. That say there is a little bit confusion here. So you will never post. There is nothing called version for actuals. Actuals are actuals. There is no, right?
Yeah, that is fine though.
And so that is like there is no versions for actuals. But only for plans you can have versions, right? And then obviously version 0 is the one which is basically you will use as a final version, so which you will use to compare with the actuals. Okay.
Because if an organization has like version 0 at the beginning of the year, they had finalized their budgets, and then based on their budgets they had done the COPA planning. I don't know, it is first they do the COPA planning. How is it like?
Yeah, so in organizations, it depends like how exactly they are having the planning process, right? So there are some companies which they go by top-down approach. They first top level they decide, right, and then top level to bottom level they will go, right? And there are some companies bottom up approach, right? So which means like they will plan at lower levels, and then they will start like rolling up the plans to the higher level, right? So
this is something theoretical for me.
Yes.
Top down and bottom up. Like top down, we mean to say like revenue. You find you say this is a revenue for my company codes X or controlling area, or what is the top down meaning?
Yeah, so when I say top down, what they do is that at the highest level, what is this year's quantity sale? Okay.
Yeah, is it for the company code level, or is it for the operating area level, or is it for the controlling area level?
It depends on the no, there is nothing like a static level that you cannot say company code level. If you plan that is a top down approach, it's not like that. It's a company to company difference, right? It is more flexible.
For example, if an organization has taken, I wanted to do the planning now for the budgeting, we call it.
Right.
They do the revenue budget. Say I want $100 million budget revenue for the year.
Right.
So that is one round figure they have. So from there they want to split it down to the various.
Yeah. So normally companies. Yeah. So companies employ both the approaches actually simultaneously, right? First and foremost thing what they do is they will look at the actuals, right? They look at the actuals, and then based on the actuals, they will look at what was the previous year, right? Let's say previous year one, and now actuals, right? So now let's say there is a comparison here. Grossly, let's say revenue, revenue is increased by let's say 10%.
Yeah.
Right? So if it is a 10% increase, right, from the previous years to this year actuals, right? So then they can plan in such a way that okay, maybe next year I may have another 10% increase, right? So then what they do is
go back to their
they take the actuals, and copy through the copy function, right? And they create a version like X, right?
Yeah.
So this is a base plan, right? So now they will start working on. So this may be it's like copy itself. Actuals are copied here, right? And then same time they may ask organizational different organizations, right?
Yeah.
So organizational units, right? So they may ask organizational units to come up with their actuals into this version, right? And at the same time you are employing that bottom up, right? All the organizational for example departments, you are asking every department to plan their respective department, right?
Yeah. That means when you have the option in SAP to do bottom up and top down approach.
Same time. So because that is
in one planning. So
yes,
version X has the top down approach. Version 1 has got bottom up approach.
Yes, and then then you compare these two, right?
Yeah.
And then make the adjustment, and then based on that adjustments, then you will think that okay, so this may be a final version, right? So you will copy into version 0. So then this you will start comparing with actuals.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like again, I cannot say this is the approach. If you plan by department.
Some other approach like they used so many versions outside the system, and then they uploaded the version 0.
Yeah, that is another way.
0, and then one more company told, okay, now version 1 I wanted to use it for say end of January. I wanted to use end of March, April 1st I wanted to have version 1. Then July 1st I wanted to have version 2. Then October 1st I wanted to have version 3. They wanted to have quarterly as 3 versions for some reason.
So again, there is, it all depends upon, right?
Yeah.
What exactly how they wanted to do it, right? So, but there is nothing like you have to use this way only. So, and again, just for your information, okay. So nowadays things become so complex. Instead of using COPA planning, they are using something called business, BPC, right? Business process consolidation.
Yeah.
Right.
That is
so
another,
this is a module. So
new star in the SAP area. And
yes,
it has got
exactly.
more popularity for some reason.
Exactly. So the BPC is using BI, right? BI. So they are using much more.
They were using some Excel. No, it was integrated with Excel. Now it is going into BI to make it more complex.
Yes. So again, COPA planning is within SAP, right? But if you are having external systems like you have SAP system, non-SAP system, the planning in COPA is not that good, right? So then you can get from SAP to BPC, and also from other legacy systems like Oracle and all other systems into BPC, and you can start consolidating, and you can start comparing here. So again,
there is you have only SAP implemented, then I think still you can be doing all your planning in COPA, which is a better one, instead of implementing one more BPC module, and then
that's correct. But that's correct, But at the same time, if you are using reporting in BI, right?
Yeah.
And people, what they do is that they will do the planning in SAP, and then again they import the data into BPC and for the comparison purposes. So like, I mean,
I saw that it is more presentation-wise. The BPC is very much presentable and more flexible as such. I think that.
That's what again. I mean, when SAP is giving one more module like that, obviously, there is some value for that, but it's much more than COPA planning, and again beyond our discussion point here, right?
Yeah.
So
if you don't have BI, they have that Excel also option.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, as far as the planning is concerned, the data will be a manual plan, or copy functionality that I was just talking about, right? Or you can have auto functions, which means, for example, you may have planning in cost center accounting, right? CCA planning. So you can use assessments to pass this CCA planning into COPA, right? That is one way. This is what we call integrated planning. For example, if you have plans in internal orders, you can pass the internal orders planning into COPA. Or if you are having, there is something called sales operational planning, SOP. There is a module called sales and operational planning. For example, you have a plans here, then you can use some of the integrated functionalities, and automatically you can. This is SOP is another module from part of SD, right? And they can use this sales and operational planning. This is like nothing to do with our revenue planning like that. It is just only quantities by material groups, or like whatever the characteristics which are there. But this is a separate module itself. But once they plan there, they can integrate
if the SD consultant does not know SOP planning, then it will fall on which bucket? I don't know.
No, not at all. It's like SOP is a separate module. If anybody is using SOP module, right? So, and then in SOP they can have a whole bunch of planning mechanism, right? But this is like for the part of the production planning, right? They have the production plan, right? So based on the SOP, so the sales data they will get and post into SOP module, right? Here, and then based on this SOP module, they will release the data into production planning module. Okay, and based on this data, they will start producing production, and then daily production schedule, weekly production schedule. All that will come up. All that will come up after this SOP planning, right? But if we want these quantities to go into COPA, right? You can have that COPA planning enabled, and you can get the data from SOP. Okay, that is what we call integrated planning. Okay, I think it gives you a little bit of idea what I am talking about, right?
Yeah. And I think from here the MRP is also integrated then.
Yeah, MRP and all that is integrated. It is a part of production.
But even without SOP, MRP can also be run once you have got the production.
Yes. But SOP, that is MRP is like material requirement planning.
Yeah,
MRP
production planning.
Yes, that's correct. MRP can be on anything, right? But SOP gives the sales data, right?
Yeah.
Into production planning. That's the way it is. That's the way it is integrated.
cost.
Yeah, if you don't have that thing, like it may be manual again. When I say manual, it may be Excel upload and all that, right? There is, there are a lot of ways.
Either you have the time, you do it manually. If not, you do an Excel upload.
Yes.
And for Excel correct. Upload also, their formats are available. You have to create LSMW for it, or it is already
No. It's Excel integration is there. It's you can generate the layouts and integrate into the Excel.
Oh, no LSMW required.
No.
Okay, and second thing is if I have profit center planning.
Yeah, you can pass.
Which will be like profit center plan and then to COPA, or COPA plan and then to profit center plan.
Normally it is like from COPA.
COPA. Yeah.
Yeah, you are sending it back to profit center accounting.
Yeah.
Because the profit center accounting, you have to remember, right? So it's basically you have a profit center is one characteristic, and then GL account. Right. So that is the two elements which you will use for profit center accounting.
Yeah. So normally it will be from COPA to profit center accounting.
Yes.
Because here
that's
you
correct.
have all the characteristics. But it becomes very complex to do the COPA planning because we have so many characteristics in COPA.
Yeah, so that is one of the things which I am going to show, right? There is a nice way of layout thing is there. So there is like basically SAP calls as a planning framework. So in the planning framework, it gives like planning level, planning package, and planning method, right? So these three like planning level, planning package, and planning method, and overall like the way that you do all this in a environment, they call it the framework. Okay, the planning framework. So the planning framework is given by SAP to do all the functionalities which are required for doing COPA planning. Okay. So I will show you the planning framework, and then we'll start working on that.
Gave some notes on that planning level.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will come back to you, and more detailed way we'll see that. Okay. So what I was saying is that we talked about the planning overview. You can say top-down approach, bottom-up approach, actual scoping to the planning, why planning is required, whether you need COPA planning or version and all that. So it's like an overall view, right? But the planning framework is an environment given by SAP where you have all the functionalities required for executing a planning activity, right? So that's what we are going to do is that. And part of the framework
that also looks like Excel, yeah?
Yeah, I'll show you that, right? Exactly how it works, right? Yeah, just give me a second. Now let me go into the SAP screen and show you how it looks like, and then we'll start talking about that. Okay. So here, if you go into the planning, so the planning transaction code which is used is always KEPM. So this is basically KEPM is nothing but you can say planning framework. Okay. So that's what you will use it, and let's go into that, and then this is the framework. Okay, and you have three sections like here the planning in level section and planning methods, and then whenever you are going to do some activity here, for example, if I select some planning level, so this is the way. So you have three sections here, right? One is level section here, planning levels here, and then the activities that you do on the planning, and then the result of whatever you are going to do is going to be here, right? So these are the three levels. So together this is called planning framework. Okay. So we will go one by one how exactly they are fit into, right? And basically this section is the place where you enter the data. This section is the place where you execute certain transactions or certain methods. right? And this is a place where you define, what exactly you want to plan for. Okay. So this is a definition place. This is execution place. This is the result place. You will see the result here. Okay. So let's go and look at the overall planning framework, right? And when I was looking at the planning, so let us look at the level. Okay. First, planning level. Again, this is not you can't see anywhere, but like exactly I try to give in a very easy understanding of the planning level, right? So planning level decide what characteristics to plan. Like the planning level you decide, okay, you have the characteristics list, right? In a COPA operating concern, you have the list of characteristics, right? So then you decide, okay, what characteristics that I want to plan. So what does it mean? Do you want to plan at sales organization level? Do you want to plan at division level, distribution channel level, customer level, customer group level, material level, or combination of these characteristics, right? So, for example, you may say that I want to plan by regions, okay, north, east, west, south, right? So, first of all, you have to decide, okay, I want to plan by region. That is what the level you decide, right? Whether you want to plan at region level or whether you want to plan by, sales channels, or whether you want to plan by a customer group, right? So, does it make sense now? Like what exactly level means? Whether it's a company code level or whether it's a sales organization level, or you may go to the lowest levels like material and customer levels like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So here at the level you also
depends
define
upon how the organization is planning. Like
yes,
the organization
how they want
is
to.
very wide, then they can go region wise. Again, if they wanted to have customer wise only, it depends upon the organization how to choose.
That's
what
correct.
level. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then you also decide period, which period you are planning, and record type, right? You remember the record type?
Yeah.
Whether it is a
sales
and
all
and then obviously version. We have 10 like a version that we wanted, right? So in this case, for example, I have picked up two characteristics. One is material, one is customer, right? So you can choose any number, right? So that makes your planning level, right? Up to here is what planning level is. You can have more than two characteristics also. Okay.
Yeah, you can have region and material also instead of customer and material.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like you decide what characteristics to plan at planning level, right? So here don't think about. Here don't think about customer number 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay. Yeah, you decide what level you want, right? So whether level means it's not one characteristic, it may be a combination of characteristics or a specific characteristic, right? And there is no limitation of the levels, like you can have number of levels also, okay? I mean, there is nothing like, only once I choose customer and material, it is done. It's not like that, You can have many number of levels. For example, if you go into SAP here, you see they have like, one level customer material corporate plan, contribution margin level, sales planning, top-down distribution level, ratio. Like that they can have multiple levels. There is nothing like, level. Okay.
But what happens if you have all the levels, whatever level you do, it should match with one with the other, no? Automatically it will match, or how is it?
Yeah, you have to match. For example, you are using a customer here and here, right?
Yeah.
And you enter the data here, same version you are using here also. Then, automatically when you open this, whatever you entered here, it is available here also.
Okay.
As long as you are using the same version.
Yeah.
I mean, which means they're automatically.
Because if I plan it for customer and material, one time automatically in the other one it will get updated.
Yeah, because you are looking at the same data as long as you are using the same version.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But you will do only one time planning at customer, material, and other levels will get automatically updated.
Other levels means what? Which level you are talking
Other characteristics will get automatically updated, yeah?
No, unless there is a relation, right? For example, I'll tell you one thing, right? Let's say you have a product group, okay, and then you said like, okay, at this product group level, I want to, quantity of my sales or quantity of my invoice quantity is, let's say, 100, 1,000 quantities, right? So now it is available at the product group level only. It is not available at the product level, right?
Yeah.
But you can use some functionality in SAP, right? You can do the top-down distribution. Okay, now I want to distribute what I planned at product group level, right? Can be distributed to product level. But you have to tell the system. What should be the criteria.
Logic. What is the logic?
Yeah. What should be the criteria for splitting it? Otherwise, how does system know, right?
Yeah.
So the criteria, maybe you can say, I will give you some kind of ratio, or I will give you look at my previous year data, or look at my what you call statistical key figures data, like that.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. It makes sense.
It's interesting, actually. It's interesting,
makes
right?
Sense, technically, but functionally.
I will show you that top-down distribution. Also, I'll show you that. Don't worry. Okay. So like you need to understand the planning package. Then it makes more sense about the planning level. Now, when you come at the planning package level, right? So basically, what you are doing that you form segments for planning at package level, right? Which means what I am saying is my customer 1, P1001, and my material M1001, I want to plan, right? So this is what this level. It's like you are specifying. Basically, in our COPA terminology, you are specifying the segment per whatever the planning level that you defined, right? So here, for example, I defined my planning level customer and material. Now at the planning package level, you are specifying like which customer and which material, and which customer and which material. Like that, you are going to have more packages within a planning level.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's go to SAP now. Here. So now, for example, here, let's say in this case, the first one is the planning material. So let's look at what is that characteristic that they picked up. They picked up the distribution channel, right? Plant, product, sales organization. These are the channels that they selected, right, at the planning level, right? So then you can also give some values there. So at the at planning level itself, they have said, okay, I am going to use this level, this plant, right? But there are certain things which I have not given. For example, product I have not given, right?
Yeah.
So
this is wide open.
Yeah, this is wide open. So this is what you will fill up at my at lower
package
level, right? Yeah. So package level in this case, if you see the package level, right? Here they filled up the period, right? For example, here at the level, period is not filled up, record type is not filled up, but at the package level, they are filling it up with the period, right, and the record type. Again, this is one way of doing it. It's not that all the time you will do like this. But what you need to understand is that at the planning level, you can pretty much define characteristics that you want to pick up here, right? And then you can fill up the data at the planning level itself. But if anything is not filled up, you can fill up at the planning package level. If that is also not filled up, which means you are going to get that data at the lower level, which means like in the method level. Okay. So like do you understand like the difference between the planning level and package here?
Yeah, level is something, if I'm not wrong again, in my level is where you define what characteristics you are going to plan.
That's right.
And package is also similar to the level itself, but you are giving more information like what package is just giving you additional information, what values you wanted to plan also, yeah?
Yeah, so you are right. So at the package level, you will not pick up characteristics, but you will fill up the characteristics as much as details you want there.
Yeah, at the level itself, you have done the characteristic definition.
Yes,
and in
exactly.
Package level, you are giving information like I want to plan for this year, for this material, for this customer. Like that, you can do it at the package level. But package level, even if you can leave it off, I think it can be.
Okay, so don't say package level. Don't say package level. At package, right?
Oh, at
you
package,
are combining. At package, you are combining certain characteristic values. Whereas at the level,
if I go to the package back.
You see here, in this case, every single characteristic is filled up. Right? For example,
but,
at this
if
level,
I'm putting the year over there in the package, is it not restricting you again for another year? You have to have one more package. Each year you will be creating one package or what?
Yeah. So these values can be changed. Yeah. So what happens, right? So now you define and you execute, and the planning is done. Then next year you will again change the value, right? So you can come here, you say change, then you can pretty much change these values. You see here.
Okay.
Right. This is just a template where your ability to plan. So when you change it, which means like in this case, for example, you are going here, right? And you are for the next year I will change my date, right? Next year I will change my date, and also like whatever the other characters that I want, right? And then like that I will go on working on that.
Okay. Just a template, as you told.
Yes, exactly. And then again we'll come back and try to understand more clearly. But let us look at like what is this method, right?
Yeah.
So again, planning level, right? Planning level has got a planning packages, right? But at the same time, planning level also has planning methods. Okay, don't think that planning methods are related to planning packages. Planning methods are at the planning level itself. Okay. So, but when you are executing the planning method, right? Right, it will start looking at the combination of planning package and a planning method. You will execute these things, right? So when I say execute, what is that? Entering the planning data, displaying the planning data, and executing some ratios and the distribution, like the way that I told you, and forecasts. There's sales forecast also you can do, and or you can copy or you can delete. So all these, like if you see, this is more of action method. So in the programming terminology, this is a function, whereas this is highest level you define, and this is the level segments are formed, and this is the level where you execute activities on this planning. So let's go to the planning methods level, right? So the planning method is nothing but you are processing the data, process plan data at planning method. What you do, planning, you have planning level and planning package, and then these two together you have planning methods to execute, which means, for example, I am going to enter customer C001, material 1001. Now I want to enter the data. So what else you will enter? At this planning method level, you will decide, right? You will decide, what value fields that I need to pick up, right? So the value fields that you are going to do, right, is obviously you are picking up here, right, and then you are preparing a planning layout. If you recollect your CO cost center planning, you will have a planning layout, right? So that planning layout is also created here, and then you will enter the data, right? Once you enter the data here, obviously COPA planning document is posted. That document will be residing into SAP, right? And then that particular data is available as a line item report using KE25. Remember, we used to use KE24. KE24 is for actual data, whereas KE25 is for plan data.
Planning data. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing that you need to understand here is that planning methods are activities that you do on the planning level and planning package. Obviously, planning level is the one which chooses what level you want to plan, but planning package is the one which fills up the data, which is like customer 1 and material 1, like that, and the planning method takes this information and further process using value fields and all that. And also at the planning methods level, you can have distribution, display, copy, and all that. Okay. Any questions here? We will see all this in action in SAP.
Now you have put value fields like revenue, cost. It's
yes.
What do you mean by cost here? Is it like same? But you will do separately, revenue planning separately, cost planning separately.
Yeah, you can do separately, or you can combine also. Okay. For example, this customer, this material, how much my cost going to be.
Or you can do in the same layout.
Yeah. Layout you can pick it up and you can put it.
Oh, that's fine.
And not only that, I can also do formulas like okay, this minus this and this one value also I can put that way. This is just a layout is like our reporting layout.
Okay. So up to contribution, you're doing the layout, the planning, COPA planning, and for overheads, we do the cost center planning, and then.
And you can pass cost center planning. You can pass into SAP.
COPA.
That's correct. Yes.
Or is it the other way around? Also, you told from COPA also you can transfer the data to cost center planning.
Yeah. Other integration planning. Yes, you can do that way also.
Okay. Either way.
Yeah, either way you can do.
Okay.
Try to do some planning here, right? And then
I wanted to do a planning on quantity and revenue.
Right. Yeah. So let us first. Yeah. So let us look at that. Like first, say planning level. What you need to do is you have to right click here and say create planning level.
Yeah.
You can enter the planning level here. So for example, I will say distribution level, right? So distribution level planned, right? So this is the planning level, and you see by default these are the three things which will come. Period, record type, and version, right? So now you are going to pick up, let's say company code. You want to plan a company code, right? And then you said the division, the distribution channel, right? You want to plan at the distribution channel level, right? And also sales organization, right? So
yeah, it's already there. VK
yeah. So that's it. These are the things that you want to plan, and then in the selection, let's say company code is always 3000. You don't want to change that, and your sales organization also 3000. You don't want to change that, right? And record type you are doing for F, and version, version you can do for whatever the version. Let's take 100 version now, okay? So and period you can give period here, or you can go at the lower levels and give that period. That is not a problem. So now my distribution level is there. For example, distribution level, if I double click, my under distribution level, all this are coming, right? But I need to give the data, some data, right, which I will create. Again, you right click here and go to create planning package. Under this planning package, you can define different levels, right? So for example, I said INT, internet sales, right? INT is internet sales, and then I will give here 001 2012 or 012 and 2012, right? And here in the distribution channel level, I just said like internet sales, right? Internet sales 30, okay, and then just save it. And then same way I can copy this, right, and name it as like my direct sales, right? And here instead of 30, I need to change it to maybe 01, okay, and I'll save this. If you carefully observe, right? So pretty much I have everything filled up here, right? And then pretty much so far, if you observe carefully, I did not enter what I am going to plan. I entered only what characteristics, but not the whether it's the quantities or revenues or what you're going to plan. You are not given yet, right?
Yeah, I mean to say the value fields, you mean to say here?
Yes, exactly. Value fields we are not given yet. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't. First level, what we did is we did the planning level in the framework. Yeah.
Yeah. Planning level you defined, right, and then you picked up the characteristics.
Distribution channel was blank.
Right.
Then in INT is still a planning level for me. Yeah.
Yeah, the planning level is same one, but under that I have a package which is like 30, yeah, right? And here it is a 01.
Put directly 01 to 30. What will happen? It will pick a range from there to there, and
it will pick up the range also. Just to differentiate, I kept it here like that, right?
Yeah, if I don't do it, what happens is all will go into that whole range. How will it differentiate?
The reason is sometimes INT is responsible by one person, right? And the direct sale is responsible by another person. You don't want to mix them up, right?
Yeah. So it is better way to do like this, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then when you come to the planning, enter the planning level. So again you have to right click here, right, to create a parameter set. Okay. So let us look at the parameter set, how it will get created, right? So let's say parameter set, which is part of planning method, right? So here I'll say manual, and okay. So under this, so now you have to create the layout, right? The layout is not there yet, right? So you will say my manual layout here. I'll just create Z, right, and then manual. I click here create button, right? When I create here, then system will give you a layout name. I can give here manual plan, right? And then it pretty much gives you like, okay, this is the place where, if you carefully observe, you are coming and clicking on the value field.
And what is header lead column? It's all header.
Yeah. So by default, everything has come as a header, right? So here you can choose one of them as a lead column, and then I'll show you exactly what is the difference. When you look at the layout, then you will understand that. Okay. So let's let us take here, pretty much let's take what your invoice quantity, right? Let's take the invoice quantity. Right now, let us plan invoice quantity only, right? And say, let's say save it. Okay. So now, pretty much you entered the planning layout, which is manual. Then you save that. So now under your INT, if you go here, manual, if you double click on this manual, the system will start opening up a place. It will give you ability to enter the data. Okay. So now if you carefully observe, this is the header. This is the lead column. You see, this header is like what? Company code and sales organization is a header, right? And your distribution channel is your lead column. And you asked one question, right?
Just what is it?
So one question you asked me. If I give the range, what will happen? The range will come here, 30, 01, 40, like that. It will come here. Right? In this case, I have not given a range. I have just selected only one, right? So obviously, distribution 30, I am putting a quantity of 200.
Yeah.
Right. So then I am saving this. That's it. That planning is posted. Right. Now I can double click on that and see the data. It's always there. 200. Right. So now I can also use, for example, what is the layout here? The manual I have given. So I can go and display planning data. Here also I can right click and again create parameter set here.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'll say parameter set is like just say display. Right. Display data. Right. So when I say display data, so then I will give that same Z manual as a layout, right? And then say I'll save this here, right? So when I double click on this and go to display, you see here, $200 is displayed, right? For example, if I go back, to sorry, I have to come out from this layout, right? So if I click on the internet sale, right, and if I click display, nothing is there, right? So sorry, internet sale 30, right? 30
is there. Direct, you don't have anything.
Yeah, if I click on direct and go into the display and display, nothing will be there, right? Zero.
Yeah.
Right? But if I go back, if I click on the internet sale, right? Because internally when you click that and select this particular thing,
display.
Automatically it is filling up this 30 inside.
Yeah.
So that is the way you are displaying $200 here, right?
Okay.
So which means like you can, you can have the planning data entered. Entry will be like this. You have to again the same layout we are using.
Real time, who will do all these things? It is the cost accountant who will be entering all this data manually, or you will give it to the business users. This particular business unit, you plan and then update these fields.
You got it, right? For example, a person who is responsible for internet sales, right?
Yeah.
Will be responsible to enter this data. He knows under sales organization 3000 what is that he is planning.
Authorization in KPM and for only internet sales division, and for his responsible, say only sales and revenues and quantity.
That's correct.
Only that
no, he is not even responsible for revenue. He is just responsible for quantity. That's it. Right?
Okay.
And other things he will calculate based on certain other things.
Okay, you give this option for him only to display his particular internet sales characteristics, and then only value field internet quantity. That the basis guys will find out what is that particular field in the whole layout. They will give him only that particular option to enter or display or whatever.
Yeah. So there is a nice functionality of the profiles here. if you go back, let's say save this and go back here, right? So there is like set personalization profile, right?
Yeah.
So this functionality you can have like which profile to be set to which users.
Okay. So if I take only IET now, like internet sales, and if I click on internet profile,
that's correct.
It will automatically.
Yeah. So this profile we are not putting it here, but user profile, personal profile you have to have, and then that definition has to be
handled by the basis. Yeah, once we give them there.
Yeah. So the basis with the combination of your explanation, right? Because he doesn't have any clue about level, planning method, and all this, right?
Yeah, it becomes.
He will not have. Yeah. For basis, they don't have any knowledge of this.
Okay.
Right. Say again, I just want to summarize here, right?
Yeah.
The planning level is a place where you pick up what characteristics that you want to plan. Planning method, you will fill up the data and also the date and all that you will fill up. And then planning method is the action that you are doing on this package, right? Action meaning you are entering the data, you are displaying the data, or there are other things that we will see in a separate session, right? To do all this, copy, forecast, all these things are there. But right now, I just wanted to give a feel of how planning is working, right? Now I will go.
To me, like that level is like something like a master data. Method is something like a transaction data.
I will not say that way, because the level is it's very simple, right? Level determines at what level you will plan. Package determines what segments under that level you are planning.
Okay,
right?
It gives,
for example,
segment gives, as you told, okay, what are the highest levels you are planning? All the levels you are planning, you define at the highest level.
Right.
Then package gives you option like different, again within the level, different segments as you mentioned.
That's correct.
Okay, it gives more flexibility to split the topmost level into different segments.
Yes.
That is the package facilitating.
That's
and
correct.
Method is nothing but you are doing all your planning there, actual planning.
Yes.
It can be a manual planning, or it can be I don't know. You have copy and other functionalities over there.
Yes. Okay. And then from here you can also go to, you can select that and go to the line items here, right? Which means pretty much whatever the data which is posted, you can see that data here, right? So, like whatever the number of line items which are posted, if you see here, yeah, so these are the plan line items. You remember the plan version 100? Yeah, because we posted for entire year, right? So 12 periods is posted, you see. Yes, 12 periods is posted. And then, if you go into that period, then obviously invoice the data you entered, and it will divide by 12, and it will be like whatever 1666, right? Like that it will have.
How did you enter? Came to that one? You entered into line items, then automatically.
Yeah, here it's very it's
double click that. Yeah, highlight it and see the line items.
That's correct. This is the line item place, right? If you see here, right, and then just double click on that.
So
you have to select
click on that one. I want to see it once again. The line items.
Yeah. So the line item you can go here, and then pretty much you can see the data here.
If you come this side, the end. No.
Yeah, here itself we can.
Quantities planned.
This is the quantity, right?
So I am seeing it is split automatically. It is was. Whatever we did, the planning, it is not for the month, it is for the year. And it is automatically splitting it into...
Exactly, because when you entered here, you entered for a year. I can go back and change it.
Yeah, if I wanted to do...
Yeah, I can go back here, I can change that internet this thing. Let's say I will put it for only period 7, right? And period 7 here, right?
Because for each and every month I wanted to have different numbers, then you have to do.
Yeah. So for example, here period 7, right? And then I will save that. And if I go and open this period, now it will be 1660 only, right? Because during that period only this much is there, not 200, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Now if I enter here, let's say 2000, whatever the reason, right? Then if I save this, and if I again go back to the same, this thing and line items, right? It will pick up only that line, that particular line here. You see? Period. So it is showing you two things, right? So one like earlier posted, now it's like now posted, right? So if you see here, the earlier line was like how much? 660, right? Now it will post, right? Whatever the balance is there. You see the balance is posted. Okay. So automatically, system will calculate automatically. Now if you are entering 2000, what was already planned, then it will deduct and it will post only the balance. Right?
But I don't know. We planned 2000 and now it is giving 1983.
Yeah, because already $16 you posted, right, earlier.
Okay.
Fixed quantity. So the summation will be 2000 if you see.
Okay. That is clear. That is very clear.
Yeah, because SAP, is intelligent enough there to ensure that the
whatever you did, it has got a track. What you initially planned, how you changed it again, everything is there. The history.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's like confusion, right?
Yeah, how it changed. It was now yesterday it was 16. Today is 2000. Why? Then you can know what is the history there.
Yes. So now the
what
total
happened
value.
The other months it automatically got erased off, or?
No. We have not selected right here.
Yeah. Now if I select all the months, then automatically it is going to show other months.
Oh yeah. Like I can go here. Yeah, I can go here and change, right? I can put from 1 to 12.
Yeah.
Right. And then automatically it will show it.
But for this month it will be showing 2000. 16
obviously,
extra.
Right. This is a 2180, right? The total. Right?
Yeah.
And then if I go here, and then obviously it will, for every month it is different, and for that particular month it will be different.
Okay.
Yeah. So let us try to understand the layout here, and again, go planning methods here. So today I would try to spend time on copy, right, in the planning function, planning method, that copy, and we look at that how the copy functionality works, and there are detailed steps on that copy, and it is very easy to understand, and then we will go and try to execute this transaction. Okay. So basically we have looked at like planning level, which will decide where do we plan, and planning package, the values which are the data segments which forms the planning package, and then planning method pretty much you use to enter, you have the layout, pretty much layout you will use that and enter the data, and once you enter the data, pretty much you can use KE25 reports here, right? In order to see how the data is posted, the line layout, line item report you can see using the KE25, right? And as I mentioned, that planning layout, the transaction code KE14, you can use that for creating the layout and using that layout in the planning method. And the same layout you can also use here in the display, so that system will display what data is posted. Okay. So today we want to use copy functionality, right? So when you say copy, what you are talking of? So copy of the planning data, right? Obviously, you cannot you cannot copy the data into the actuals, right? Actuals is always posted through the other modules, right? Copy functionality comes into the picture only in the case of planning.
Yeah.
So again, this same copy functionality like cost center accounting or internal orders, wherever the planning is there, the same kind of functionality is available for copy even in COPA also. Okay, so when we are talking of copy, you can copy plan to plan, right? Or you can copy actual to plan. Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
So plan to plan means, like, you remember that version 0, version 1 to version 0, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
And actuals to plan means, like, you can you can copy actuals to version 1 and then make some modifications, and then you can copy into plan data. So that way you can have the planning. So let's go a little further, right? So so plan with copy means, like, for example, you had a product old plan, let's say product group, product 1 quantity this much, product group product 2 quantity this much. So pretty much you have all these values, right, in an old plan, right? And then you can take that entire value, right, and then you can copy into a new version, right? So that is what, like, plan with copy, right? So the old plan will come as a new plan itself. Okay, so that way I'll show you in SAP, but that's what you can talk of plan copy, right? So let us go a little bit details here, right? So whenever you are talking of planning, right, the copying in the plan, so pretty much you are taking some reference data, right? That's what you are going to copy into the plan, right?
Yeah.
Reference data has to be there. Otherwise, what is that you will copy, right? So that's what the copy, the reference data. So here in this example, let's say you are talking of actuals, right? And period 5, and then you are saying that, okay, customer group P1 and customer group P2, I have order quantity of 3000 and order quantity of 4000 here, which was actual data, right? So this actual data I want to copy, right? So this actual data I want to copy into the plan. So where do you want to copy the plan? Always when you say plan, then the important thing is that I have a plan, right?
Yeah.
And the plan is always with what? There is a version, right? And again, in which period you want to copy? Same like 5, you can take 5 or whatever you want to take, you can take. But in this example, 5. And what is that you want to copy? Same, C1 and C2, right?
Yeah.
So end of the copy, what will happen? Now this data which was there in C1 and C2, right? For the order quantity 3000 and 4000, this actual data will become plan data, right? So right now up to here only you watch, don't look at that bottom portion. I'll come and talk to you on that, right? So is it clear, and do you have any questions here on this?
Yeah, this is clear. This functionality you are using just to copy some actual data to plan data.
Yes.
Similarly, you can even copy from one plan data to plan data.
Oh yeah. That's obviously it is possible. That should not be a problem.
Provided you have some plan data in that old version.
That's correct.
And
if you don't have data, how can you plan? How can you copy, right?
You cannot copy.
Right?
I mean to say, this data got populated in the actual fields when the actual transaction happened in the old period or the existing period, whatever it is.
It can again, there is no limitation, right? It can happen. What I mean to say is that this data is a reference data, right? You know, in this example, this is actual. It can be anything. It can be any period. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, you are trying to copy that value into your plan value. That is important. So this actual will go into plan version 100 in this case.
How many versions we can use? Like it is showing 100 means we can have 999 versions, or?
Yeah, you can have 999 and again ABCDs, right? So you can, I think pretty much you can. Yeah. 999 is itself is a huge number, right?
Yeah.
So
for any
why did you use so many? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So and there is a so let us go and look at SAP and then you know try to understand how this is there, right? So let us look at again. Let us create another planning level here, right? And with a simple example of customer group itself. Okay. So let's say let me take. I'm creating a planning level, right?
Yeah.
Right. So just to keep it very simple, I just taken like customer group level plan, okay, and nothing else. I'm giving just company code I'm giving here, and directly I'm going and giving the customer group itself, right? Nothing else.
This is what I had in my mind. Now, if you're doing customer group and you have taken company code,
so which means you are planning at you are planning two levels.
Planning at customer group and company code level, but you have other characteristics like distribution channel, division. All those will get updated automatically based on the customer group.
No. Unless you do that all the mechanism of distribution and all that, but otherwise.
Yeah, once you do the distribution to customer level, then automatically your division and distribution channel will get updated.
That's correct. So in this case, it is just we are using just customer group.
So still you need to do the distribution to customer level.
Yes.
And it is a must to do. Yeah, it is a must step.
It all depends on the company requirement.
Yeah, if a company says I just wanted to see profit center level, you do that one and leave it there. You will not do the customer and then the distribution channel and all those things.
That's correct.
Yeah, perfect. Now, okay.
Yeah, so I can take out the company code also. Just keep only customer group for your understanding purpose, right?
Yeah.
And then pretty much we can go ahead and so in the selection I will give like for period 007, right? And 007, right? So this is the period I want to plan, right? This is the period I want to plan, and record type I want to plan F, right? And version I want to plan 100. If 100 is there, right? So that is the way I'm planning. Okay. So let me go ahead and try to do so that particular group I just created, customer group, right? So now I'm creating planning package there under that. Right?
Yeah.
So I can have only planning package 1, right? It need not have so let's say to simplicity.
Yeah, to simply.
Yeah, I'll just take 2, right? 01 and 02.
Yeah, enough for now.
Right, and then save that. I'm done with that planning package, right? And now when I double click on here. Say I want to, I don't want to enter any plan data directly. I want to copy. That's what I want to see here.
Okay.
Right. So right now, if I go and see the data, let's go and see the data. I'm going to KE24, right? And in the record tab EF, right? And let's see in the under version, right? And if anything is there here.
Yeah, you want.
Okay, so there is a lot of data, right?
Lot of data.
Yeah, lot of data is there, but let me pull that.
96.
Yeah, so because the old data I have given, right? So let us take 7 2012, and 7 2012. Let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
So there is two records are there, right, in the planning data. So let me see anything is for the customer group. Okay. So the customer group is null, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Right. So which means there is a plan, but that is related to company code, that level, right? So it's not, nothing is there customer group level. Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
Right now, if you see here in the customer group, there is a zero value, nothing is there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what we are going to do is, right, we are going to copy, right, actual data into the planning. Okay.
Okay.
So let me go. This is a KE25, right?
Yeah.
This transaction is a KE25. Which
KE25 is, I thought it is a planning data.
This is planning data. That's what.
Yeah.
So right now there is no plan, right? Nothing is there. Do you agree? Zero.
Yeah, we don't have it right now. That's what you are showing
right
now.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing right now. And at the same time, I want to show you actual data also. Right? I'm going to the K24 and again F and currency type I'll take 10, right? And then period today, this period, right? And then let me pull that characteristics customer group P1, right? So that particular thing I'll say I have 01 to 02. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, just remember, right, you are talking of actuals now. Okay.
Yeah, 24 now.
So, yeah. So let's look at this. So actually, I posted actuals for these two groups. Okay. That's what I wanted to show you that first. Okay. Let me pull that information here. Right. So I pull the customer group. Customer group I am pulling here. Okay. And then what I posted was order quantity. Okay, so let me just pull that order quantity, ordered quantity. Okay, so now if I go and see the data, right? So ordered quantity, and I think not order quantity. Let me see what is the value that I have. Invoiced quantity, not order quantity. Okay.
Okay.
So I will just pull that invoiced quantity so that you will see the value there, right? So invoiced quantity is here. So that invoice quantity I'll take there here, just next to customer group. Okay. So now if you see, you very clearly you can see, right? 3 and 4, 3,000 and 4,000 quantity. Okay. This is again what? It's actual. Again, just I'm reminding you on that, right? So this is KE 24.
See, now you can copy from customer group in actual line items to customer group in plan line items, and you are able to copy. You will be able to copy invoiced quantity to the planned order quantity also. Huh?
Yeah, so that's what we are going to do it right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to copy this actual data into my plan, right? That is my objective, right? So this is my actual, right? This actual should go to my plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that is the objective of this exercise, right? So I just wanted to show you first the data, what we are going to do, right? This is actual, right? And we are going to do this into the plan. So you have seen another transaction code where you looked at the data, right? So there is nothing. You see here, just let me. So here there is nothing is there. You see, customer group is not there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is K25, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So now let me go back to the planning screen. So now I want to copy, right? Again, I'm just creating a parameter set here, right?
Yeah.
So parameter set, I can say C1, copy customer group actual to plan. Okay. So now here, this is the place you need to very carefully observe, right? So now what parameters we are going to select and how we are going to select it, right? So now here, pretty much you are saying copy values, right? It's not add, but just copy whatever is there, just copy values, right? And then you can pretty much entire year you can do, like fiscal year shift here 12 periods. If you tell system will back 12 periods it will take, or you can just take from period. So let's to keep it simple, let's take it from this period, right, to this period. And here again this is what the important thing is, that this is the reference data, right? This is what we are trying to do, right? That is what you need to observe. And then you have an option here whether you are copying actuals, or plan data, right? So these two are plan data, right? But what we are copying right now, we are copying actuals, right? Remember that actuals I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
And actuals, at the same time, what is the record type of the actuals? Say actuals also can be record type, anything, right? It can be A or it can be F or whatever, right? So in our example, we said whatever that we have in our planning package, the same thing you take it, right? I'm not giving any other record type, because the same planning package record type, which is F, is the one which I want to copy.
Okay.
That's it. So right now, don't worry about this section. Which is transformation of the characteristics. This I will tell in a moment, right? But right now let's try to understand this particular thing. Okay. So I am copying values, right? So I have to take the value field. What is that value field that you want to copy? I want to copy invoiced quantity. Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
Invoiced quantity. So I want to copy invoiced quantity from actual data, from the record type F for the period which is 7 to 7 into my planning, which is my planning package tells that the planning package is like my time frame, right? I've given the time frame and everything. So I'm just saving this as is. Okay, and again I'm going back here. So at the planning package level, I said this is the customer group 0102, and this is the period 007 and 007, and my record type is F and version is 100. Into this I am copying my copy data, which is like I will go here again, display parameter set, and then here this is the place I am telling the system, right? Do this, right? All this particular activity.
And what is the period shift?
Yeah, I will come and explain about that period shift in a moment, right? So, like right now, if you get a confusion, like you can clearly take from period to to period. But if you are doing copy for entire 1 year, you can simply say period shift 12 months. Then it will take 12 months of previous year into your copy, right? So that is what the period shift functionality is. But here, let's keep it simple right now. 007 to 00. Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing, important thing is that there is always you have the test run. You can have the test run and the production run. Right now it is in test run mode, and let us go and execute this, right? So now planning method is executed, and then it say execute it, right? It is trying to do, and then so here there is an error coming. Quantities with the different units cannot be added together, right?
Yeah.
So this is what the message is coming. Let us analyze this, and let us analyze this. What could be the reason for the error? Okay, you have to do the unit of measure here, so then that particular problem will go away. And I added that particular characteristic here from the list of list of our characteristics list, right? This is kind of value field, but that is a mandatory field, okay? And then I select that and go into my my package, right?
So unit quantity is also one more characteristic we need to define, or it is already a standard?
It's already standard SAP given, so you don't require to worry about that.
Okay, no need to worry.
Yeah. So it's like system is trying to see, trying to copy, and when it is not finding that unit of measure field, then it is getting confused, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm going ahead and executing here, still in the test mode, and it will show you. Okay, now this is successful, right? Now successfully.
Yeah.
But again, this is in the test mode only. You see here, this is still in the test mode.
Yeah.
Right, this particular thing. If you click on this detail log, it will tell you, right? It is like what is the planning elements that you have taken here, right? And then all the information it will give. So here, this is the first thing you need to check is whether it is run in the test mode or where is update mode. Okay, so once it is in the test mode, you did not post, but it will show you that it's going to be successful. Okay, so let me right click here and change the parameter set, and then I can remove the test mode to update run.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can save that. Let's set, come here and go here again. I am just now executing. So now it is in the update mode, right?
Yeah.
So now it is successful. Once it is successful, I can go here, and then I can click on the line items here. Normally, if it is posted, it should show what values it is posted. You see, right now you are in the transaction where the plan line items, right? Plan line items here, right? And then data is posted. So now I will pull two fields, right? Which we are looking at: customer group and invoice quantity. Right, so I will look at the customer group. Customer group is this. I will take that customer group to the front so that I can see the data, and then invoice quantity. That the one which invoice quantity is the one which we copied, right? So invoice quantity. Let's look at the invoice quantity. Right, this is the field I copied, right? So I'll put it together and say, let me see that. Okay, you see 3 and 4, right? Is copied into version 100, right? So now this is the data which is available in the planning system.
Yeah.
Okay. So that way you have seen the complete cycle of looking at actuals, looking at the plan data before posting, and setting it up the things in the plan layout, right? It's simply you don't even require any layout, right? You can just go ahead and executing it, right? So I'm coming back here, right? So here I can go back all the way to this particular thing, right? So the plan line items, I'll go back here to my plan data, right? So now if you carefully see, my plan data is posted, right? So since it's plan, I can now go ahead and create a layout to display the data also, or I can go to my KE25, right? KE25, and pull that information which you already seen that, right?
Yeah.
I can select that customer group here, and 01 and 02, and the plan data, and I can pretty much take 100 version and created whatever is created for this period. I can go ahead and pull the information here. So this is the plan data which is posted right now. Okay.
Right.
So do you have any questions here on this? It's pretty.
This is wonderful. So these are based on cumulative numbers of that particular period. It is copying.
Yes. Again, what you have seen is like tip of the iceberg, right? There are so many options, right? I mean, unfortunately, I cannot go on, showing every option. But when you are experimenting, once you understand the base, right, how it is working, right, and then you can go on experimenting. And even if you are a master, when you are facing the client, then they will always have different kind of questions.
Okay. Now
what will happen is that you have to show them this functionality so that they will come up with ideas. Right, if
the sales manager has done this activity, or the marketing manager has done this activity of planning his sales, how is the pricing now getting into this one? Because if I wanted to have a sales plan, you have quantity, but where is the sales values here then updating?
Yeah, so the sales values, again, just imagine, right? So do you have actuals? Do you have like revenue values posted? Do you have quantities posted for the previous year? Right?
Okay.
All that values, form your base for your prices. Right? So there is something, something called ratios, right? You can come up with
quantity you increased by, say, you added 5% or 10%, then value you have same values, then the price is going to come down, or
yeah, I mean, say that's what you have to, all these permutations and combinations, right? The price is a product of your, previous year actual revenue and actual quantity, right? And then you can take that price and say, okay, this price I want to increase by 5%, right?
Yeah.
So now that price, let's say it was $100, now it increased to $110, right? And now $110. Yeah. That's what ratios functionality will help you on that. So there is a ratios functionality. I mean, pretty much yes. Within the system you can use that functionalities to work on various scenarios. Actually,
I don't know much about SAP COPA planning. I don't know much about SAP BPC planning. I know the theoretical or the planning in financial models, how they do. So those things are all available here as such. In
yeah, obviously, right? Yeah, that. I mean, SAP is very smart enough to look at what are the industry standards, and accordingly what is needed for the businesses, right? It came up with ideas and it came up with planning methods and all that.
Okay.
Right.
Now, my question is again going back one step to my same understanding. I'm just learning here. So if we use properly COPA itself planning, not required, not so required to go for BPC if you use COPA properly. Yeah.
No, we have to be very careful, right? So the BPC has got a wider reach, right?
Oh.
Because COPA planning is only within COPA, right? But BPC, when you look at that, you can get values from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's not only limited to SAP.
Yeah, that is the strength of it.
Yes. Just want to give you some more, thoughts here, right? In the copy functionality, when you look at, right, and there is something called important and interesting thing, right? Transformation of characteristics, right? This is what something very important to know, and it's more confusing if you not carefully think of this.
Okay.
So let me go back to the PowerPoint and look at what kind of scenarios it will come out with. Okay. So whenever we say transform, right? So if you go back there, you can say transform. Here I can give the customer group and say transform from C1 to C2, like that I can give, right? So not C1, sorry, here 01 to 02, right? I mean, because these are the values which are existing, right?
Okay.
Say transformation means, like, when you are processing the data from the reference data, right?
Yeah.
How do I want to reflect this data into my plan is what the transformation here, right? Along with the transformation, you have something called add and cancel. Here there is something called add and cancel. Cancel is nothing but, you can also read it as a clear, right? Cancel is also clear. Just read it as a clear, right? Cancel is nothing but clear. Okay.
So you did one planning, then you can clear it off also.
Yeah, no. So that's what I was trying to tell you, right? That is nothing to do with that, right? So now, if you say right now, what we did is, we did not do anything on this transformation. We just did from here to here, right? Like, we took that reference data and we copied into the plan data. We did that example, right? So that is the reason 3000 came as a 3000 here, and here, and 4000 came as a 4000 here.
Yeah.
Right. So that was a simple, straightforward, right? But if you are using transformation like C1 to C2, right? And then if you do not tick like add and cancel, for example, not checked, not checked, right? So what system will do is, right, C1 will end up 3000, and C2 also will end up with 3000, because you are transforming whatever was there in C1, you also want to transform that into C2, right? So what you did, you just taken C1 value and you copied into C1, and C2 already having that value, right? So here C1 was already having that value, and it will transform that value into C2, which means that 3000 will become the plan value for C1 as well as C2. Okay. So
mistakenly you do this type of thing, then you can reverse back.
Yeah, you can reverse always back, right? So reverse means, again, just cancel, or you enter the new values, or whatever the way you want to do it, right? Yeah, that is not a problem. So, but here add button will affect on the target, which is C2, right? And cancel, clear, is affecting C1, which is value C1 transforming into C2, right? Transformation characteristic, right? So then you are saying whatever, if you tick that add, right? So what it will do is that C2, for example, if you tick it like add, then whatever the value which was there in C2, how much was there? C2 was 4000, right? Now that C1 will be added to C2, then the value will become 7000 for C2, right? Right, and then look at that only add portion, right? If you do not check it, and C2 will become 3000. If you check it, C2 will become 7000, right? And if you don't use this transformation at all, right? Sorry, C2. I am talking of C2. C2 will become 4000, right? We have seen that 4000. If you don't use
transformation, basically what it is doing is it is replacing the value there.
That's
if you
correct.
don't check it. If you check it, it is adding to that value.
That's correct.
In the plan data.
So yeah, that is a functionality of add, right? But in the same time, you have the clear also, right? That cancel.
Yeah.
Cancel is showing the effect on the, exactly. The cancel is showing the effect on the source, which is C1. For example, if it is checked, which means cancel, which means C1 value will become 0.
Okay.
If it is not checked, C1 value will be retained as it is, like C1 is 3000 is 3000.
So if you do not check it,
And there is no effect, like whatever was, we did not do that, right? Just now we did not check it, right? There is no transformation, nothing will happen there.
If you do put, yeah, you did not check it. 3000 is there. And C2, what happens to C2 in that case?
C2, okay, C2 effect is only based on add. Nothing will happen based on the cancel. And whereas for C1, because add works on the target and cancel works on the source.
So what happens is cancel, if you want to do it properly, you check it and do it. That's it.
Yeah, so that that particular field, right, will be wiped off.
Yeah. So right? If you had some plan values there, even 10,000 value was there, automatically it becomes 0.
Yeah, because that's the way the functionality is working there, right? So again, it's very difficult to understand.
Cancel is used for reversing or clearing off, yeah.
No. So not at all. But sometimes what happens, right? In the process of planning, right? If they are transforming certain certain characteristics from one to other, they will use this functionality. Okay. So, but I am showing you an example here, right? Because
in the real time, they will say that my customer groups now, I will not be selling to this customer group. I will be selling to a new customer group, but this quantity will move from this area to another area. Or
now you got it. For example, I am copying last year values. Last year I had C1 and C2, but this year I am not going to have any C1. Everything is now C2. Okay. Now what I will do? I will transform from C1 to C2, and then I'll say, okay, check here and check here, so that my C1 will become 0, right? My C2 will become 7,000, which was anyhow 7,000 to start with.
Yeah, you have the quantities anyway, but in a new group. So that functionality, if you want, you have to use transformation.
Exactly. Now you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, since it is available here, I just wanted to, show you that, because this is a very important piece of information, right?
Yeah,
it's very difficult to understand here, so that is the reason I created one, add, clear, and how it is working on C2 and how it is working on C1.
Yeah.
And you can do some example on your own, right? So and at least when you are doing this, I think this would help you out on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So again, this is what the planning is, right? Planning copy, right? So there are a lot of things are there, but we can say here, this is the way planning copy functionality works, right?
Okay.